Windows 10 is an operating system launched in 2015 by Microsoft. Support for Windows 10 is soon ending in 3 months in October 2025. Windows 10 still holds 50% of the computer market share in 2025. So it's kind of crazy that Microsoft is killing support for Windows 10 when it's still used by 50% of computer users. For its 10-year anniversary, we're going to be taking a look at the first ever build of Windows 10. Then we're going to be taking a look at all the operating systems before Windows 10, starting with Windows Vista. So I have all the operating system laid out in virtual machines, so let's start to take a look at them. We're going to skip Windows 8 because Windows 8 and 8.1 are pretty much the same operating system, so we're just going to do Windows 8.1 when it gets to that time. But let's start up Windows Vista, and let me turn my sound up so you guys can hear the amazing startup sound. Here's Microsoft Windows Vista Home Premium. This was released in 2007. This was known as one of the worst operating systems Microsoft has ever released, known for the notorious blue screen. Windows Vista was more misunderstood than anything. Computers in 2007 were not ready for Windows Vista, which still looks really good in 2025, which I do have a theme using Start All Back on my Windows 11 laptop. Windows Vista also introduced some new games such as Purple Place. Windows Experience Index was also introduced in Windows Vista as well. Now let's shut down Windows Vista and let's take a look at Windows 7. Now let's start off Windows 7. Look how beautiful that is. Looks a bit weird on camera. Windows 7 is known as the best operating system, and honestly, I agree with that. Windows 7 really improved the use of the arrow theme, making it to where instead of when you have a Windows open, usually inside Windows Vista, the taskbar would become one solid color, but inside Windows 7, the transparency would stay. That's if you had a powerful enough computer, of course. The taskbar was also redesigned, making it a lot easier for you to pin applications onto the taskbar, while on Windows Vista, it was a pain. Windows Vista made the taskbar icons really tiny, making them hard to see what they are and hard to click, while on Windows 7, they are nice and big, ready for you to use your application. Now that's enough with Windows 7. Let's shut it down, and then let's go take a look at Windows 8, which made some big changes to Windows. Windows 8.1 is really very similar to Windows 10, but it was mainly focused for tablet computers, not really for desktop users. Yes, it was really good and optimized for a computer, but in the end, you would really want to use Windows 8 and Windows 8.1 on a tablet. Because you see, we have our normal desktop, but, okay, just wait for this to do that. You see, we have our normal desktop, but then when you go into the start menu, this is not a start menu, this is the Metro UI, which is made more for tablets, but you can use it on a desktop, but it's really annoying. So, that's when Classic Shell started really gaining popularity. Classic Shell was a program that would bring you the old taskbar back for users who wanted the regular taskbar for Windows 8 and Windows 8.1, so they didn't have to use the Metro UI. Mainly people who are not with a touchscreen used Classic Shell, but there were some people with touchscreens that used Classic Shell, because some people used to use Windows 7 on a touchscreen and they're used to it. But yeah, now let's take a look at the first ever build of Windows 10. Build 1507/10240. And no, we're not doing RTM. Same exact process as Windows 8.1. And we are now in. So this is the first ever version of Windows 10. Looks a lot like Windows Server 2019, but Windows Server 2019 is not fully bloated up like this version of Windows is. Okay, well, OneDrive was harassing people all the way back in 2015. That's wild. Okay, yeah, this has to quickly do something for VMware Tools, so just give it a second, because I freshly installed this VM now, and I'm gonna exile it after recording this video. So, the first ever version of Windows 10, this is build 10240 from 2015, and one thing I noticed right off the bat is this down here. You see there's text next to the buttons, while on the newer version there's no text. It will show the icons only, so that's pretty cool. And the file explorer is also there. I had no idea. This is not in the new versions of Windows 10 or even in Windows 11. That's not there. That would be pretty useful. And another thing that I also noticed is in the personalize, you guys know how you have the regular Windows 10 looking UI, but then when you click theme settings, it's like you're back on Windows 7 and Windows 8. This is the exact same one as Windows 7 and Windows 8, which I think that's just really cool, because that just shows that it was a really good UI that was kept in Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, and even in the first version of Windows 10. So, yeah, and then you have these high contrast themes. I don't know one person that actually uses the high contrast themes. High contrast dark, maybe it's not terrible, but high contrast light, just go back to the windows like that. So let's see, what else do I notice in here? Anything interesting in the File Explorer? Which has a regular Windows 10. Let's see. They got rid of the Windows Experience Index. So that's nice. I'm pretty sure Windows 8.1 had the Windows Experience Index still, I think. Actually, I'm not sure. I think it did, though. I don't know, though. I could be wrong. But I know there's a third-party experience index that you can run. But I'm pretty sure Windows 8.1 still had the regular experience index. But yeah, this is the first ever version of Windows 10. It's not as bloated as I thought it would be. This is also not connected onto the internet, so maybe it couldn't install the applications that it wanted to. Because I remember this had like Candy Crush and a bunch of random games over here. So yeah, maybe it couldn't install the bloatware that it wanted to because it's not connected onto the internet, because I'm not gonna connect this onto the internet. But now, since I don't really have much else to say about this, let's go take a look at the latest and most likely last version of Windows 10. Hey, it's almost like it looks exactly the same. The only thing I've really noticed different is the background right off the bat. And then, of course, there's minor changes like the start menus revamped. They got rid of that. They got rid of the Windows 7 themes page. But other than that, there's really nothing different.